Once upon a time in the peaceful village of Kalani, surrounded by rolling hills and endless farmlands, the air was filled with anticipation and doubt. Anna, the wife of Tali, had been pregnant for an unprecedented 700 days. The villagers whispered among themselves, debating whether this was a divine blessing or an ominous curse. Children would cease their play to stare as Anna walked by, her belly unnaturally extended. Despite the constant talk, Anna carried her burden with otherworldly grace, often found in the temple, her hands gently resting on her belly, eyes closed in solemn prayer. T stood steadfastly by her side, his face etched with lines of worry, but his love for Anna unyielding. In the village lived a midwife named Alara, with years of experience. The rumors of Anna's 700-day pregnancy circulated, reaching Alara's ears. In all my years, I've never seen anything like it. Something extraordinary is bound to happen, mark my words, Alara would say, as she shared a pot of tea with her apprentice. The elders conferred with King Niran, equally bewildered by the mystery. His council of advisors was divided. Some advocated patience and faith, while others cautioned that Anna was possessed, and the abnormal pregnancy was a sign of impending doom. In a state of quandary, King Niran summoned Anna and Tali to the palace. I cannot ignore the signs any longer. If you do not birth what's in your belly within 60 days, I shall have no choice but to banish you both. The safety of the village must be my first concern. Anna nodded, her eyes misty but resolute. She knew what she carried was no ordinary child. However, convincing a village steeped in tradition and bound by the natural laws they understood would be a challenge. As Anna and T stepped out of the palace, they knew they were racing against time. As the sun dipped below the horizon, another baby's cry was heard, hauntingly filling the air. Little did they know, their unborn child, still safely encased in Anna's womb, was anything but ordinary. Anna carried twins, a secret so extraordinary that it would challenge the fabric of their reality. As the sun rose on a fateful day, its rays barely penetrating the overcast sky, Anna felt the first twinges of labor. Hope blossomed in her heart. Maybe this was the moment they had all been waiting for. With anticipation and anxiety, T prepared the cart to take Anna to Alara's home, where the midwives readied themselves for a birth unlike any other. The labor was agonizing and prolonged. The midwives, old and young, convened around Anna, and ritual chants filled the room. Days passed, 1, 2, 3, and still Anna remained in labor. Alara finally declared on the 4th day, I've never seen a woman labor so long without birthing a child. Family members brought food, water, and emotional support. Yet as Anna entered the 7th day of her unimaginable ordeal, even the most hopeful among them began to lose faith. Aurora approached Tali on that 7th day. We've tried everything we know. The child simply refuses to come out, and Anna is growing weaker. Desperation seeped into Tali's soul as he looked at his wife, her face pale but still radiant, her strength waning, but her spirit unbroken. He leaned over to kiss her forehead, a simple act that carried all the love and promise of their shared life. At that very moment, as the sun started its descent on the 7th day, something shifted. Anna let out a scream that cut through the fabric of time itself. Aurora rushed to her side, eyes widening in disbelief and wonder. The first of the twins was ready to make an entrance that Kalani village would never forget. As Anna's scream reverberated through the room, Aurora sensed that the moment had come. With years of experience guiding her, she carefully positioned herself to assist in the birth. The room was filled with tension, every eye fixed on Anna. Tali held his wife's hand tightly, his knuckles white from the pressure. With one final guttural cry, Anna gave birth. Alara lifted the baby, her hands trembling with emotion and awe. "It's a girl," she announced, her voice tinged with disbelief and wonder. They laid the newborn on Anna's chest, her tiny form wrapped in a simple linen cloth. Anna's eyes met her daughter's for the first time, and in that instant, her exhaustion seemed to melt away, replaced by an overwhelming surge of love and relief. She had given birth to a child as beautiful as any they could have imagined, with eyes as deep as the ocean and a full head of hair that shone like spun gold in the dim light. Tali looked at his wife and newborn daughter, a sense of pride and wonder filling his heart. He leaned down to kiss Anna, then gently touched the baby's forehead. "Her name is Marie." Anna whispered, with a love so profound it left no room for doubt. But then something peculiar happened. Marie did not cry. Not a single sound escaped her lips, not even a soft whimper. She looked up at her parents with an expression that was far too knowing for a newborn. Alara felt a sudden chill. A baby's first cry was more than a tradition. It was a rite of passage, an announcement to the spirits and ancestors that a new life had joined the living. Aurora glanced at Anna's still distended belly, the second child. She said softly, more to herself than anyone else, "It still hasn't come." Confusion and worry clouded the room. Anna's labor had been extraordinary in its length, and now they had a child who did not cry and another who refused to be born. The joy of Marie's arrival was tempered by the realization that their ordeal was far from over. Anna clutched Marie to her chest, her mind racing. They had 60 days to produce the second child, or face exile, and worse. As she looked down at her beautiful daughter, an unsettling thought crept into her mind. Was Marie so serene, and yet so unsettling? The harbinger of blessings or curses for their family and their village? Unbeknownst to them, outside the walls of the birthing chamber, the villagers were growing restless. The mysterious cries of unseen infants continued to haunt the nights. And now, with the birth of this strange child, the murmurs grew louder. Little did they know, the most extraordinary chapters of their story were yet to unfold. Anna and Marie remained in Alara's care for 7 more days, a period filled with both wonder and worry. Marie was unlike any newborn Aurora had ever seen. She seemed aware, her gaze oddly focused, and yet she never let out even a single cry. Anna and Tali would often catch themselves staring at their baby girl, as if expecting her to suddenly reveal the secrets she seemed to hold. And then there was the matter of the second twin. Anna's belly remained swollen, a quiet reminder that their family was not yet complete. Despite various attempts from the midwives, massages, herbal remedies, and ancient incantations, the second child refused to make an appearance. As they crossed the threshold, Anna turned to Tali. "We must prepare ourselves for whatever comes next," she said softly, her voice tinged with indescribable emotion. Tali nodded, holding Marie closely to his chest. "I stand by you now, and always. We will face the future as a family." The night they returned home, the village was eerily quiet, as if holding its collective breath. Anna lay in bed, Marie nestled beside her, while Tali kept vigil. Unseen infants ceased their crying that night, leaving a heavy silence that spoke volumes. Though Anna and Tali did not know it, their return home marked the beginning of a series of events that would forever change the fate of their family and the entire village of Kalani. The countdown had begun, and with each passing day, the stakes grew higher, both for the family and for a village teetering on the edge of profound change. As days turned into weeks, the silence that had settled over the village of Kalani grew tense and uneasy. It was as if the entire community had become a ticking time bomb, set to explode at any moment. Murmurs grew into gossip, and gossip into outspoken concern. The mysterious nightly cries had stopped, but they had left an unsettling quiet in their wake. It was only a matter of time before another king, one ruling the entire kingdom, including Kalani, decided to intervene. As the overall leader of Kalani and other neighboring villages, the villagers looked to him for guidance, for some kind of resolution to the unsettling mystery that had enveloped their lives. With grave concern furrowing his brow, he summoned Anna and Tali to his palace. The royal chamber was grand, filled with intricate tapestries that told tales of Kalani's storied past. Yet, Anna and Tali could barely appreciate the majesty around them. They were too focused on the somber figure seated before them. King Lomar looked at them intently, his gaze lingering on Marie, who sat silently in Anna's arms. "You have 60 days, he began, his voice echoing in the stone chamber. "Another 60 days for the second twin to be born. If that does not occur, you will be exiled from this village, and your firstborn, Marie, will be sacrificed." The words landed like a hammer. Anna felt her heart plummet, a sense of despair washing over her. Tali clenched his fists, struggling to maintain his composure. The king continued, "There have been unsettling occurrences since Anna's pregnancy was announced. The community cannot live in perpetual fear and uncertainty. We must take action." Anna felt tears welling up in her eyes as she looked at Marie, her beautiful, silent daughter, who now carried the weight of a dire fate. The king's decree hung heavily in the air, sealing the fate of their family. As they left the palace, the weight of the impending exile and sacrifice pressed upon them. Anna clutched Marie, determination in her eyes. Tali, however, was seething with anger. The once tranquil village now felt like a cage, its walls closing in on them. They returned to their home, the reality of their situation sinking in. 60 days, a mere 2 months, determined the fate of their family. The second twin must be born, or they would lose everything. The village, once their sanctuary, now felt like a hostile terrain. The days that followed were filled with desperate attempts to induce the birth of the second twin. Anna tried every remedy suggested by the village elders, enduring pain and discomfort in the hope of ensuring her family's survival. Tali, too, sought guidance from the ancient texts, hoping to find a solution that eluded them. As the days passed, hope dwindled. The tension in the village escalated. Whispers of exile and sacrifice spread like wildfire, casting a dark shadow over Kalani. The once unified community now stood divided, torn between fear and empathy. Anna, Tali, and Marie became the focal point of this turmoil. The eerie silence that had replaced the nightly cries became a constant reminder of the impending deadline. The couple faced scornful glances and hushed conversations wherever they went. With each passing day, the village seemed to close in on them. The burden of not just their family's fate, but the entire village weighed heavily on Anna and Tali. They were trapped in a web of tradition, superstition, and the ruthless passage of time. As the ominous 60-day deadline approached, the atmosphere in Kalani grew increasingly charged. The once vibrant village now resembled a ghost town, its residents paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. The elders held secretive meetings, debating the course of action should Anna fail to give birth to the second twin. Anna's days were a blur of anxiety and anticipation. Every twinge, every ache sent shivers down her spine. Tali, normally a pillar of strength, struggled to conceal his anguish. Marie, the silent witness to it all, gazed at her parents with a knowing look, as if understanding the gravity of the situation. Then, on the eve of the fateful day, as the moon hung low in the night sky, Anna went into labor once again. The village held its breath, the air thick with tension. The midwives attended to Anna, their expressions grave. Tali stood by, his heart pounding with a mixture of hope and dread. As the first light of dawn painted the horizon, a cry echoed through the village. A cry that shattered the heavy silence that had gripped Kalani for far too long. The second twin had been born, breaking the curse that had threatened to tear their family apart. Relief swept through the village like a gentle breeze, dispelling the suffocating atmosphere of fear. The elders, who had gathered in anticipation, nodded approvingly. The king's decree had been averted and Kalani could breathe again. Anna held her newborn child, a sibling to Marie, and tears of joy streamed down her face. Tali embraced them both, the weight lifted from his shoulders. The villagers, who had stood on the brink of condemning their own, now celebrated the newfound harmony. As the days passed, the memory of those harrowing 60 days lingered in the minds of the villagers. The mysterious cries of unseen infants resumed, but this time they carried a different energy, a sense of renewal and rebirth. Anna, Tali, Marie, and the newest addition to their family became a symbol of resilience, challenging the rigid traditions that had threatened to extinguish their happiness. The village of Kalani, once divided, now stood united, realizing that sometimes the most extraordinary stories emerge from the most challenging chapters of life. And so, life in Kalani resumed its natural rhythm, but with a newfound appreciation for the fragility of fate and the strength that could arise from facing the unknown. The tapestries in the royal chamber told stories not just of the past, but also of the present, weaving a tale of a village that dared to defy destiny and emerged stronger for it. As for Anna, Tali, and their children, they lived each day with gratitude, savoring the simple joys that life in Kalani offered. The cries of infants, once a source of dread, now became a symphony of life echoing through the village, a reminder that, in the face of adversity, hope and resilience could lead to a brighter dawn.
Hey everyone! If you've been captivated by the incredible story of Anna and Tali's journey in the village of Kalani, I invite you to join our community on my YouTube channel. Subscribe now to stay updated on more fascinating tales and engaging content. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed this story. Now, let's make this interactive. I'd love to hear from you. What part of Anna and Tali's story resonated with you the most? And if you were in their shoes, what name would you give to the second twin? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights add a special touch to our storytelling adventure. Until the next video, sending you good vibes and looking forward to exploring more extraordinary tales together.